Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're going to do a video on stains. Now these stains are the ones that I use frequently in my shop and I would kind of earmark them as my favorites. So there are all kinds of stains on the market. I'm just going to share with you today the ones that I use, why I like them, what the differences are between them, how I apply them, and all the good things. So let's just go ahead and dive in and get started. Now, first thing I want to talk about is the application process and the tools. What do I use? Let me tell you, I keep it really simple. I pretty much apply all my stains, different ones, the same way. I use a foam applicator brush. I talked about these in my brush video that I just recently did an update on, so check that out if you haven't already seen it. These are a very good quality. There are different qualities of these. They are not all created equal, so just keep that in mind. These are really good quality ones. The heads don't slip off. I have had that happen in the past, and there's nothing worse when you're in the middle of laying down your stain or your top coat and there goes the head of your foam brush. So invest in good quality ones. They are not very expensive. I get a whole bag at my woodworking store for $5.99, I think. So, and I think there's like 16, 18 of them in there, different sizes. So these are great for applying the stain. And then I use a simple white rag. I get a bag of rags, so the lint-free t-shirts from Lowe's or Home Depot. Pretty much all hardware stores have them, and I use these to wipe back the stain when it calls for it. So that's kind of it as far as the tools go. There's one more item that I do keep on hand when I'm staining, and I do get asked this often. Do you sand in between coats? And the answer is sometimes. There are times you may not need to. Why would you have to? Well, let's just say you've got some lint that has flown in, or maybe a bug, because a lot of us do this out in our garages or workshops that are outside, and so that happens, right? So yes, in that case you'd want to sand in between. Not aggressively. You don't want to take that stain that you just put on because it's going to be really fresh off. What I use when I sand in between coats just to get a little extra smoothness or maybe get some of those bumps out of it that maybe got in there like I talked about is this stuff. I use the Steel Wool Quadruple Zero, lightly sand in between coats, and then I wipe it down with a microfiber cloth. I'm very careful to use tack cloths. I mentioned this before in another video, is tack cloths do have oils in them, and if you apply too hard of pressure on your piece, you're going to push that oil from the tack cloth in, and it can affect how your stain will impart to the wood on your next coat. So just be aware of that. Tack cloths are great, but I kind of use them as a final, just making sure that I've got everything. If you've got a really good clean microfiber towel, you can use that to go ahead and wipe it down and get it ready for your next stain coat. So that's how I apply it. Those are the tools. It's very minimal, as you can see. So let's go ahead and start talking about these stains. So the first one I want to share with you is actually the one that's been in my shop the longest. It is a staple. It is a client favorite, and it comes out gorgeous every time. And that is the General Finishes Java Gel. When I first started, I read all about this and was so curious to try it and absolutely fell in love with it from the very beginning. Now this is a gel stain, and so it's a little different as far as the application process goes. Not too different, but just a little different. So let's talk about that. So I apply it and I wipe it back right away. So the gel stain kind of sets up pretty quickly. It's a little bit different. It's a little thicker than normal stains. And so once I apply on my entire surface with my foam applicator, I literally go right back over it with my rag and I wipe it back. So if you wait too long, maybe your climate's a little warm, it can set up even quicker and make it harder to get a nice, smooth, even finish. So when using this, just keep in mind you want to apply and wipe back right away. The dry time for this, I believe, is between 12 and 24 hours. I always wait the 24 hours because here's the thing. When you apply multiple layers of product, if you do it too soon and it has not cured or set up for that next application coat, it can have moisture issues. Moisture issues cause finish issues. So always read the directions on the can and definitely adhere to what they're telling you. They've obviously tested this a lot, and don't rush it. Take it from someone who's been doing this a long time. I have rushed it. and it never turns out good. So this is a really cool stain. One other thing I want to mention with this is I sand all my stain projects down to bare wood. Now with this stain, you don't need to do that. There are several stains out there where you don't need to do that, and this is one of them. This stain in particular can be used on a surface that has not been sanded. It's been cleaned and prepped and ready to go. Now, I don't use it that way. I've tried and tested it that way when I first got it just to see, since that was kind of like one of the things that was a draw to this for a lot of people, is that you can go ahead and just apply it and go. Now, what I will tell you, it comes out like more of a painted look than it does a stained look. Call me a nerd who loves the look of beautiful, fresh, bare sanded wood. I just love that look. I want the grain to show through, and I want the stain to enhance it, not to really cover it or give me a painted look. But if you have a piece where you don't want to sand it, this can be used. So it's really a cool product. So they will look different. I don't have a piece that I can showcase at the end of the video showing that because I don't use it that way, but I will show each and every one of these stains on a piece so you guys can kind of see how they look on the finished product. Now, keep in mind this does have to be sealed, okay? So you do want to use a top coat on this for that added extra protection. I do have a video on top coats that I just recently put up, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. Or you can ask any questions you have down below and I'll answer you. So that is that one. Now this, I just wanted to show you, oh, that's the quart size. Price point on that runs, I believe it's about $23.99. It may vary, depending on your retailer, but $23.99 I would say is about average for the quart. Now they do come in these sizes here. The half pint is carried at my retailer, so for a little bit, less, I believe these are between $11.99 and $13.99. You can get this size. It also does come in a larger size you can order. Not all retail locations will carry the multiple sizes, so just check, and if not, then order online. So that's the Java Gel Stain, one of my all-time favorites. So another one that I often use, actually more now so than I have ever used before, it's just because it's become so popular. I do a very cool driftwood blended look with it, and that is the Fusion Stain and Finishing Oil in One. This is an uber cool product. So the application process is a little different. The way that you apply this is you go ahead and you put it on your piece, you set your timer for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you gently wipe it back. So it's a little bit different. Now I will tell you that each product on the directions will tell you. Now I told you that with the Java Gel Stain you want to wipe back right away. Some might say, a couple of minutes, some might say do it right away. So it just depends on the product. Make sure you read the directions so that you know where you're going with that. This one, after 10 to 15 minutes, you go ahead and you wipe it back. Voila. Now the cool thing about this is you can definitely layer it to achieve a deeper, richer color, more opaque if that's what you're looking for. Normally on this guy I do about 2 coats and I'm good to go. But again, it just depends on maybe the look that I'm trying to go for. These blend up really nicely. I use 3 colors all at once and they're absolutely gorgeous together. They're gorgeous on their own. The very, very cool thing about this product is it is a stain and finishing oil in one, which means it's got that top coat built in. So it's a really cool product. Comes in about 5 colors. That's the only thing, is they don't have a huge color range. They've got cappuccino, natural, ebony, white, and driftwood. But you can mix with these colors and blend with these colors, so it's really kind of cool. Now the price point on this guy, this is a half pint, is about $23.99. Yeah, it's a little expensive when you think about it. Like I just showed you a quart for about the same, price point. However, you have to remember this does have the finishing oil in one, so you're saving on adding that top coat, plus you're saving on maybe a little frustration because sometimes top coating, as we all know, can be a little challenging. So it's kind of a neat thing to have that 2-in-1. And for me, it's worth the price because if I don't have to top coat something, just because sometimes, like I said, that can be very challenging, it's kind of a bonus. So this guy, super, super cool. Love, love, love this product. Been using this a lot lately because of the requested look I've been getting for that driftwood look. And I do have a video on that. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and look at my library because I do have a video on how to use that stain and how to blend it. So the next one I have was one that I heard about a couple years back on a podcast. They were talking about the specific color, and I'd never used this brand, so I was super curious about it. Went to Home Depot and got it. So this is the Varathane, and this is the Varathane wood stain. I grabbed the wrong color. I realized this is Kona. The color I was talking about that I was so interested in that drew me to this was Briar Smoke. But anyway, I have several other colors, as you can tell from my packaging. I use these a lot. So this is a really cool stain in the fact that the price point is great. I think it's like $10 or $12, so relatively inexpensive for this size. It is a 1 hour dry time, and they say it's a 1 coat coverage. Now, that is all kind of, in my opinion, you know, just based on preference. I'm not a 1 coat coverage kind of stain girl. I like to build a little bit of that coverage up. But if you're looking for a sheer, you know, just look, then this is kind of cool too. I typically do about 2 to 3 coats, just depending on the look that I'm going for. So again, it's a preference, but the coolest part about this is that it's a 1 hour dry time. I have tested that out, and it absolutely works. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm a little bit on the cautious side, and normally what I do when I'm staining projects is I'll put on my wood stain, I walk away, I go and I do another project, and then I kind of actually forget and go, oh, it's been 2-3 hours. I kind of err on the side of caution and let it dry for a little bit longer. You know, there's no harm in doing it after the 1 hour because it is dry and they say it is ready for recoat. So that is just a really cool part about this product, and that's one of the things that I really, really love. There's times where, you know, you just want something, you want to get something done maybe a little bit quicker. Your time frame is not as, you don't have as much time, you know, for the dry time and things like that. So this is a really cool product. I did forget to mention that the Fusion product, the dry time's 8 hours, recoat time. So it's a pretty good recoat time as well. Again, I'm a little cautionary. What I do with that is I just put it on, come back the next day. That's typically the way I do most of my stains that are not the 1 hour kind. And then I want to mention this guy here. This is also a Varathane product. They also come in this size, so that's why I wanted to show you guys. And I think this is like, I want to say between $6 and $8. But this one is a different one. This is a stain and poly in one, which kind of goes back to, you know, sometimes people, they just dread putting that polyurethane on just because they might have a beautiful stained project and then, I don't know how that's, you know, poly's going to go on. And sometimes poly can be a little challenging to work with. And so, yeah, this is kind of a nice product too because it's got the stain and poly in one. No need to top coat it. So I have used this before and I really, really like it. I don't use it as frequently just because I have these others, but this is one I do keep in my shop when I have a specific client that's asking for a look. This is a really good one. So, and a great price point on that. And then the last two I want to talk about are very similar products, but I like to show you guys different options with different price points. But the look that they give off and the overall gist of how it goes on is very, very similar. So the first one I want to talk about is this one, which is the Weather Wash. This is a water-based stain, and it's more of a wash, just like it says. It gives you a very sheer wash of color. It takes old wood and makes it look like, it takes new wood and makes it look old, like old barnwood. It comes in several different colors. I don't have a retailer that carries this in my area, so I ordered it directly from Weather Wash. Packaging came shipped really, really well. It comes in different sizes, and they do have different products like top coats and things as well. Now the thing with the Weather Wash is it's about $25 for that quart. It is a little bit more pricey. So, but it is a great product and I really enjoy working with it. We just finished a fall project in our shop and we used a bunch of the Weather Wash. I have 2 different colors and I used those and they just come out so cool. I'll show you guys the project that we worked on so you can see how it transforms it from brand new. You can have a brand new spanking piece of wood from the hardware store, come home, and after you put this on, you apply it. I don't wipe this one back. I apply it with my foam applicator. It's very, very thin consistency since it's a water base. And then after about 30 minutes, you really start seeing the way that it turns into that old barnwood look. And you can layer. So if you want to add a deeper color to it, you can definitely layer it and do several coats. So the last one I want to talk about is very similar product. It almost pretty much just does the exact same thing. And this is the Varathane line Weathered Wood. And this comes in, I think this comes in 3 or 4 colors. So the color range is not as wide of a color range as the Weather Wash. But the great thing about this is I can get it at my local hardware store, and the price point is about $12. So you're looking at, you know, half of the other one for the same size. So for those of you that might be, you know, just trying things out, you don't really want to invest that much money, but you want to try out a look, this is a good one to try. Really, really like it. Basically, like I said, does the exact same thing. It applies the same way. It has the same 30-minute time, and it really kind of turns it into that old barnwood, so it's a very cool look. So those are the stains that I use in my shop on a regular basis. There, like I said, there are many, many stains on the market and many good ones. I have tried a lot of them, and I just gravitate towards these because they're looks that I like. They go with my style. They're ones that my clientele usually will ask for. So yeah, I really love them. Just wanted to share them with you guys today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. As always, I will get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you so much for being subscribers and watching today. Keep subscribing so you can get all of my videos. And I just wanted to mention one last thing. I recently just wrote an ebook for you guys. It is available for free on my website. It's about tips and tricks over the last 5 years that I have learned, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you're interested in grabbing that free ebook, go to my website, which is www.borninabarnboutique.net. And thanks again, you guys, for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.